staying at Real Madrid wouldn't confirm his continuity with the project. He's trying to clear up those quotes, and we'll see if he did. Let's take a look at the latest out of the CR7 camp, who also wants to rename the Champions League after himself. Says, obviously I have something to say, but it wasn't the right time. Although I don't regret it because I was honest. I've kept putting up with this, but then I couldn't control myself. This has been coming for a long time. Money is not the problem. Gab, I'm coming to you on this one. Money is not the problem. So what in the world is for this guy?
I don't know. We've been here before. He said he wanted to feel loved. He wanted to feel more respected. I think he also said he's gonna make an announcement on June 4th when he meets up with Portugal. Maybe he'll tell us. The fact that he spoke in the past tense suggests that maybe he's leaving. If money's not the problem, and he's willing to take a pay cut from the $50 million roughly that he makes a year and will make for the next 3 seasons, there's plenty of places that will take him. If the issue is money and that, he feels that Neymar and Messi, both of whom make substantially more than he does, and he feels that he should be getting another raise, then obviously that's a whole different issue. I don't know. I talked about this in my column today. Unless it's some sort of Zidane-related issue, or he's foreshadowing some move to China, or dare I say Major League Soccer, where they go to the point where they promise him a franchise and a big chunk of the league's revenue, and the keys to the keys to Don Garber's Ferrari. I don't know. I really don't know what is up with him. I don't know why he needs to make these announcements at these times.
I don't know about you guys. This seems like, to me, the ultimate pettiness of an egomaniac. Am I being too hard?
No, not at all. No, it's getting old, isn't it? It's getting old. And previously, you have to listen to it because of what he was doing on the field of play. The stats will tell you that he's still doing it. But the truth is, he's slowing up big time. And so it just doesn't carry the same weight for me as it had previously. And you have to wonder, does the owner or does Perez realise that Ronaldo's on the wane? And does Ronaldo realise not only he's on the wane, but he's got a 3-year nest to sit on if he wants. So it just doesn't carry the same weight for me anymore.
Of all the things that Ronaldo said in his quote, the latest one, the only thing that really carries any sort of importance for me is the fact that it was not the right time. It wasn't the moment in which he started talking about his future in Real Madrid was just seconds after winning a title with Real Madrid. So the celebration should be with the teammates. The moment should be celebrated by the fans, with the fans, and with the teammates. This is a team accomplishment. The moment you bring this up, he knows, we know, the fans know, everybody knows that then the storyline becomes Real Madrid won. However, what's going to happen with Cristiano Ronaldo? And that, whether he meant to do it or not, and I think we can all agree that it feels like he meant to do it, and that it was in his way, his statement of saying, I'm still the guy that should carry the headlines here. It is not only unacceptable on his part, but it's something that people should hold him accountable for. It is...
Who can hold him accountable?
Well, but who can hold him accountable? At some point, the people that love Ronaldo can also take an objective look at what this was. And this was an attention-getting moment. Yeah. Rather than, this is all about Real Madrid. This is about what we have accomplished. Now I'm going to make it about myself. And for those who do not like Cristiano Ronaldo, this is blood in the water. This is because it feeds into the rhetoric, it feeds into the storyline of what we think Cristiano is like. But when he does things like this, it becomes a certainty.
He's just doubled up on it as well.
Yeah.
Because we've got Gab telling us now, he said he's going to make another statement in June or something. So he hasn't learned. He's coming out as if to say, well, I shouldn't have said it then. And then he doubles up by making another statement that he thinks everybody's going to be hanging on to every word he has to say coming up.
Go ahead, Gab.
No, I was going to say, what I find most frustrating here is he says, well, I'm being honest and whatever. The worst thing that can happen to Real Madrid, if you care about Real Madrid, and he's put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into Real Madrid, if you've got something to say, come out and say it and be clear about what it is. All right, you've said it's not about money. What is it about? Is it about your position on the pitch? Is it about respect? What is it that you don't like? Ideally, in the normal world, in the grown-up world, you would send George Mendes, or you sit down yourself and you would speak to Zidane or Florentino or whoever you would speak to. Now, maybe they've done that and we don't know about it, and he feels the need to go public. But if you're going to go public all the way. If the problem is not money, and it's not that you want to raise because you think that you should be making as much money and it's Neymar and Messi, then come out and say what the problem is. Because I'll tell you what, if you don't go out and you don't make it clear, then people will speculate and they will speculate and they will come to bad conclusions about you, like two guys in the studio just did. And they're going to assume that this is some kind of mystery babying, and it's not going to help you and it's not going to help Real Madrid.
Guys, Cristiano Ronaldo knows he's 33. He knows he didn't score in the Champions League final. And he also knows that Gareth Bale scored a golazo in the Champions League final. Is there a hint of jealousy here, you think?
I'm going to say no, because I seriously don't think he's jealous of anybody.
Even somebody stealing his moment in a Champions League final?
Not really. To him it's just, well, for once it wasn't me, but you know what? I'm Ronaldo. So I don't think he's jealous. I just think every single opportunity that he has to promote himself and make it about him, he does it. He takes advantage of it.
Yeah, I don't think it's jealousy that Gareth Bale scored the goal, but certainly Ronaldo would have loved to have been the one scoring the bicycle kick, right? So let's not kid ourselves. Cristiano Ronaldo likes himself, and that's fine. I'm not criticizing Cristiano Ronaldo for liking himself, because that's part of what makes him who he is as a player, what he has been, and how spectacular of a talent he has been for so many years. My problem is when you take it a step further. My problem is when now you certainly just make it about yourself and undermining the importance of the achievement of the team. And in the end, this is a team sport.
Gab, let's continue down that pathway, because in the moments after the Champions League final, Bale comes out and essentially flings the door open to an exit. What's the latest there?
Yeah, look, there's another one. And you know what? Hey, can I just say, if I can make a little detour for a second, I have so much more respect and admiration for Zidane, because beyond the 3 European Cups, he's got to deal with this kindergarten of Galacticos that on the day they would come out and say this publicly. Like he couldn't have waited 24 hours to come out and say, well, I'd really like to get more playing time, and if I don't get more playing time, I'll have to consider my position. First of all, you just signed a contract through 2022, and you signed a contract when you weren't getting playing time because you were injured. All right, so that's the first one. Secondly, you couldn't wait 24 hours. You couldn't wait for the next day to come out and say this. No, let's pile on. Well, Ronaldo said it. Oh, I'll go say this too. I might leave. I'll tell you what, Gareth Bale had a chance to leave last summer. He was strongly linked to Manchester United. By all indications, he's the guy who wanted to stay in Madrid. He stayed in Madrid. He played very well in the final. He's a very good player. His place in the starting 11 is not guaranteed, because Real Madrid have phenomenal players. And also, by the way, because in the last 3 years, he missed roughly 50% of their league matches. If he thinks he can go and get a gig elsewhere, go tell your agent. Go get an offer. Have them make an offer to Real Madrid. I think it's as simple as that. But be warned, Gareth Bale and Cristiano, but in a different way. The fact of the matter is, Gareth Bale makes so much money, it's close to $30 million a year, that there's very few teams in the world that can afford Gareth Bale, and there's fewer teams still who need Gareth Bale and for whom he would be a fit. In fact, I'll make this very easy for you. It's really still only Manchester United. And now that they've signed Alexis Sanchez, I don't see how they're going to go and move for him, because, if anything, United's issues are further back on the pitch. The other thing here, what's been coming out, is that Bale doesn't appreciate the fact that Zidane says, look, you need to work hard, you need to track the defender, you need to go and help out defensively. ostensibly because Cristiano doesn't have those responsibilities on the other side. If he thinks Zidane is too demanding of him defensively, I can only imagine what he's going to think if he were to play for Jose Mourinho and Jose Mourinho asked him to track back.
So Gab's saying, what, $30 million a year and maybe like €100 million. Let's throw that number out there, transfer fee. To me, if you spend that much money on a guy, you need that guy. Does Manchester United need Gareth Bale?
Talent. The question for him is not talent and ability and skill and all the things that he can bring to a game. Gav alluded to it. It's staying healthy, staying fit, being ready to play, being available for selection. If he is that, then yes, a team like Manchester United could have a whole lot of use for Gareth Bale. Imagine that guy running that sidelines for you, huh? Or tucking inside, or being underneath, or being a striker, or being down the left. I mean, it gives you a whole lot of options if you're any team, not just Manchester United.
That enough to compete at the top of the Premier League?
Forget the Premier League. There's one team in the world that needs him. Real Madrid. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this. Real Madrid need Gareth Bale.
You
No
see him
question.
staying.
Kareem Benzema, listen, the old BBC is no more. Ronaldo is on the wane. No question. Nobody's going to argue. He can't get around the field the way he used to. He can score goals, yes, but he can't get around the field. In my opinion, Benzema is on the wane. And if the only thing we see in the problem with Gareth Bale is getting him fit, then work with him, get him fit, keep him fit, because Real Madrid needs Gareth Bale. Never mind Manchester United or anybody else. The guy's a great player, get him fit, and he'll stay at Real Madrid.
Gab, I saw you make a face while Ali was
Stevie.
talking. What's up?
Oh, no, I agree with that. I know I made the face actually when Stevie was talking. This idea, well, first of all, actually, about what Ali said, they just signed Alexis Sanchez in January, who plays on the left-hand side. I don't know that Mourinho needs another headache. One thing that we need to remember with Manchester United, yes, they can afford Gareth Bale. They're the wealthiest, if not one of the wealthiest clubs in the world. But they don't have infinite funds. If they're going to go and sort out the defense and get themselves another midfielder, they're going to want to get good ones who are really, really expensive in the current market. So I think it's a question of resource allocation. Do you go and spend your money on Bale and then go through the season again with Jones and Smalling and Young and all this nonsense at the back? Or do you try to build the kind of team that Mourinho's been known for in the past? As far as Real Madrid is concerned, with Gareth Bale, the guy's 28 years old. If you can cash in, you cash in now. You've got Asensio, you've got Isco, you've got whatever center forward they're likely to bring in to replace Benzema. I mean, you can only play with so many attacking players, and this is a guy who, as Ali mentioned, has missed 1 and 2 league games over the last 3 seasons.
Liverpool have signed Fabinho from Monaco for a reported €40 million. What else can you tell us about the move?
Well, obviously, there's a player who's been linked with a number of clubs for some time. I think he really fits the profile of what Liverpool wanted to do. I think they moved very quickly, obviously, and they kept this on the lowdown. Seems like a lot of money, but for 24, you're getting a guy who's 24 years old. You're getting a guy with a good pedigree. You're getting a guy who can play both defensive midfield and right back if necessary. And he's used to a pressing system, having played that under Jardim. I think between him and Keita, they can let Emre Can go. And I think Klopp's going to feel pretty good about that midfield next year.
Stevie, you've held Liverpool's midfield three all season, kind of the collective.
Yep.
You think Fabinho's a good fit?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Do you think he'll start?
It's possible. There's no... I mean, we just don't know when Oxlade-Chamberlain's going to be right. Definitely needs choices. No Chan. Henderson's had his injury problems as well. Fortunately, Keita's coming in. So I think this is a great signing. This guy, as Gab says, is not stuck to one position. He's a football player. I think Klopp likes football players, people that he can move around and they'll still do as good a job wherever you put them. So I think this is a great signing for Liverpool.
It gives you depth, it gives you flexibility, it's a step forward for Liverpool, but we know there are other areas where Liverpool should pay attention to. This is only step one, I suppose, But certainly there are other things that I know Stevie Nicol is anxious to make sure that this team gets right. Fabinho is only one piece of what it's going to be, I think, a few other pieces coming in.
The Brazil team have arrived in London and they are making themselves at home here in the Tottenham Hotspur's training ground in North London. In fact, they're even staying here in the new hotel, which has just been built. They're using it before the Tottenham players have had a chance to try it out. Beautiful facilities at the hotel. Brazil have hired 3 of the pitches, 3 of the 15 pitches available, and they'll be preparing here up until Friday when they fly to Liverpool to face Croatia in Anfield on Sunday. They will come back here to train here as well next week, making these important training sessions in the morning and afternoons for Tite to prepare his players. Obviously, everyone looking at Neymar, who's been coming back from injury after having an operation in his metatarsal. He's been training normally with the team in the last few days, but he did leave the training session today not looking too happy. We're not sure yet if that was just him frustrated with his performance in training or if he is feeling something regarding his injury. We'll get back as soon as possible with any news on this. It wasn't a very intense training session because obviously they arrived in the morning from Brazil, from Rio, about 9 o'clock at Stansted Airport. So it was just a small training session to start off the work here in London, which will be very important to define the team which will play the first match on the 17th of June against Switzerland in Russia. Douglas Costa is still out injured. Fagner also didn't train, but the rest of the team were here apart from, of course, the 3 Brazilians which were in the Champions League final, Casemiro, Firmino and Marcelo. They will join the rest of the squad on Wednesday. So that's it for now. Brazil here. They are not even going to leave this place because they don't need to. They're staying here until Friday. The players can't even go into London. They have the seclusion here and the privacy to do their work, and will stay here until they go to Anfield this weekend.
All right, our thanks to Joao. Ale, does Brazil's success come down solely to Neymar's health for you?
Depends on what you call success.
Winning it all.
Well, yes, you have to have Neymar healthy, not only healthy, but playing at a high level and producing the things that he can produce for you on the field. Once you get to that semifinal stage, these teams are the top of the top, the best of the best. And so how do you separate yourself between those teams? You have to have a guy like Neymar that provides a moment of magic that may just put you over the top. And that's how Brazil wins the World Cup. They need Neymar at his best.
Stevie?
Neymar at his best, certainly if needs be, would tip the scales in a tight contest. But quite frankly, when you look at the squad they have, you look at the talent they have going forward, if something did go wrong with Neymar, I'm still not putting my money on anybody else other than Brazil.
Really?
The
Yes.
problem is, Stevie, that the last time that Neymar went out in the World Cup, as we saw in 2014, the wheels fell off the wagon.
This Brazil team's not flaky.
Well, no, it isn't.
That team had some flakiness about it. This is a solid unit from back, middle to front, which with Neymar should win the World Cup, but without him, I think they can still do it.
What about Brazil playing at Anfield? That's kind of cool.
Hey, I don't care who plays at Anfield. It's cool to play at Anfield.
Okay.
Oh.
That's a
Only
great
the legends,
response.
all the legends
Yes.
play at Anfield.
Yeah.
We've made it to extra time. And boy, do we have some good questions for you. Brought them
I
to
can't believe you never started with, all right! Like yesterday. You did that yesterday with Hamilton.
I thought about it, but save it.
Fair enough.
For the next day. We actually had a really interesting question yesterday. Well, we had a really interesting answer.
Stop trying to
from the
butter up. Don't stop trying to butter up people that watch the show. Just ask the question.
Well, I'm going back to yesterday's question. Show question. Shaka said Manchester United had a better season than Liverpool.
What?
Yeah, that's what we said. What?
What?
Yeah,
Exactly.
So is that United finished second, Liverpool fourth. I guess the Champions League wasn't enough for him. The Champions League run.
This is a look inside the mind
Of a goalkeeper.
of Shaka's power rankings. You see?
That explains a lot.
Well, for the longest time, he's had Liverpool at near the very top of the power rankings because he says that Champions League, he values that more than he does other things. And yet you ask him the question, a straightforward question, and he goes in the other direction. So there you go. What chance do we have?
Gab, maybe you can help us here. Is there any way to make sense of Shaka saying that United had a better season than Liverpool?
Not really. not when you look at the expectations. I turn around and I'd ask Shaka, who do you think is happier with this season right now? Jose Mourinho or Jurgen Klopp? For better or for worse, you feel, and we can debate this, that Liverpool are building towards something and they're on their way. And obviously they're starting with less resources and a lower starting point than United. I look at this United team, and I think Jose Mourinho, were he here, he would be the first to say, well, I probably need another 4 or 5 signings to get where I want to be. So put those things together before you even get into the Champions League final, because of course Liverpool were in the FA Cup final. Sorry, United were in the FA Cup final. And no, I think you would probably have to give the edge to Liverpool.
Gab, I'm going to ask you the next question. If you were to predict the biggest transfer to happen in this window, what would it be? Let's just say biggest means biggest dollar sign.
What's already? Are we counting Wayne Rooney in this?
Oh, use.
Hey, what? Hey, why you got to do?
Why you got to do that, man? We were this close to getting through this unscathed.
No. See, he's
You know how I feel about that.
He's gone
Yeah,
now.
look, I mean, I think. All right, so you're asking me to speculate and guess. I will speculate and guess, but assuming Cristiano goes nowhere, then I would probably lean towards Gareth Bale if he is serious about moving, if he doesn't get playing time, or possibly Robert Lewandowski, because I feel like we said this last year, but if he is going to move, and his agent always seems to be hinting at a move, then this is the summer. The one other huge transfer that could happen, theoretically, should PSG get done for financial fair play, so I had to shoehorn that into the show, but should they get stuck in there, then you would imagine either Neymar or Mbappe moving, but, you know, that's really premature to even suggest that.
Didn't hear most of your answer, but you managed to slide in Wayne Rooney and FFP.
Yes.
You really offended the entire panel here. Thank you, Gab, for that.
Yeah, that's Gab bingo. Financial fair play? Check.
Jose wants to know, and I'll ask you this one.
Oh.
Who would you choose to bolster Barcelona's midfield? Thiago Alcantara or Christian Eriksen? You like either?
Well, I think neither one of them covers an area of need for Barcelona. When I think of Barcelona bolstering their midfield, I'm thinking of somebody who can provide a little bit more work defensively. Neither one of those guys is really going to do that. If I were to choose between the two of those, boy, that's a hard one.
I'll choose for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alcantara.
Yeah? You think he's not automatic starter with Barcelona, or no?
Where did you pull that from?
No, I'm just asking.
I'm trying to answer one question, and you're asking me another question before I even answered the first question.
Sorry, Stevie. I'm sorry.
I'm going to go with Thiago Alcantara as well. But I do like me some Eriksen. Let's not... Because Gab gets a little defensive when I don't like...
I think Eriksen fits in perfectly with what Spurs do. So does Alcantara fit in with Barcelona. He's been there before. He knows exactly what's expected. And I think it would be good now. Listen, Busquets has to do a lot of work.
I mean, I'm assuming.
If you had a choice,
that's what the question is, right? Yeah, no, I get it. But what you're basically saying is, since I presume you're going to have Coutinho as your starter, and you're going to have Busquets as your starter, you're basically saying you're taking Thiago Alcantara or Eriksen over Rakitic. And I don't know. I mean, I think he's been subpar.
Who would you choose to bolster Barcelona's midfield, Thiago or Eriksen? How did you pull in Rakitic?
Where are you looking?
Where are you pulling Rakitic for?
Where are you looking, Stevie? Where are you looking?
I don't know. I'm trying a few. Hold on, I'll try that one. Oh, there's one over there. There's another one over there. Actually, there's a main one.
Stevie, if you're going to bolster,
There's
you're
another
just
one
talking
over
to
there.
add depth, to add a body, fine. But if you're going to bolster, it means he can only contribute if he actually plays. So I
Has
don't,
he answered
I
the
don't know that
question
Thiago
yet?
Alcantara would get into this midfield.
Okay. Would Eriksen get into the midfield, Gab?
That wasn't the question.
Well, he
The
just-
question wasn't would any of these players get in? The question was, who would you choose to bowl to Barcelona? And then we start throwing in.
Neither. Would choose either one. I
Alcantara.
spend my money differently. That's not what they need. That's
that's
to
not
me,
the
that's not what they
question.
need. Sorry.
This is answer the viewers' question time. Not. I don't want to answer the question. I'll tell you what they need. What I want to tell you.
Hey, Stevie.
That's what politicians do. They never answer the question.
Here we go.
The politicians, they tell you what they want you to know. They don't answer the question. So, Gab, you're a politician.
Oh.
Wow.
No, I'll answer your question. I will take Ericsson
Hey.
because that way I
sure,
can
yeah.
then send. But he wouldn't be in midfield. I would play him slightly further forward, and that way I
We
could
never
send
asked
them
you if they would
on
play
loan.
him. We didn't ask you where you play him. We asked you who you want.
Well, I'm giving you a little extra for free. What's wrong with that?
Hey,
I
Stevie.
want to go home for my dinner.
Stevie. Previous to the show, you gotta have a conversation with the director of this show.
I'll tell you, aye.
Okay, this is a camera that I have to look at. Because we're dancing everywhere.
But that one.
To be fair, there are like 6 cameras in
But they
front of
keep moving it. I see, you've done it again. They keep moving it. Right, stay there. See?
Hey!
No.
No!
Oh, no, they've got it. It's like being in the amusement park. You know that thing you hit all the things when they go...
The whack-a-mole.
The whack-a-mole.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
a whack-a-mole. Trying to figure out what camera I'm going to hear.
Oh, there it is.
Is that last question?
That is the last question. That is the last question.
Fair enough.
We'll be with you the rest of the week here on ESPN FC.